Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the AM show hosted live on Alphaman. It is December 27th, and I am your host, R2DGen, along with me, as always, by Mr. Free Market Capitalist.
Hey now.
Hey, now we made it through Christmas. We made it through Boxing Day. We are not taking any days off from the show. We are just going full steam ahead right through to the new year, and I am so happy to be back. I had a lovely little Christmas. How about yourself?
Quite a nice day. I'm a big Christmas fanatic. We had a lovely tree. Yeah, open presents. It was lovely. It was lovely. And boy, did the NFT world get a Christmas gift.
Yeah, a bunch of Christmas gifts. Tons stuff to talk about today. My Christmas was very low key, which is the way that I love it. But yeah, it was just spent with the family and just really enjoying ourselves. So always love to have those couple of days of rest and relaxation, and then here we are. So yeah, you mentioned some Christmas presents. I mean, starting with SOS, we talked about that briefly on the show. It wasn't really anything when that first came up. And now here we are up like, I don't know, it was like 10x right now, but it went up like very, very high. It was up like 2,000% at one point on Christmas Day. It was almost taunting. It was just like, you were like finally looking forward to some relaxation. We thought NFTs were going to be quiet, crypto would be quiet. Who knows what's going to happen? And then this bomb just gets dropped, and everyone was glued to the charts.
Yeah, I think memes, or we talk about how powerful memes are, and what is a meme, right? Is something that kind of encapsulates culture or a social phenomenon into something everyone can relate to. And in this case, everyone can buy and trade. And with all the ire that people had over OpenSea over the last few months, between the insider trading with Nate and the constant outages and the no token and all this stuff, this bit of a meme coin, SOS, which I put out a poll saying, what does it mean? Save OpenSea, sell OpenSea? We don't know, but it was obviously it billed as kind of an OpenSea competitor, because the way that you were rewarded this airdrop was based on how much you've used OpenSea over the years. So it immediately had people thinking, well, is this some sort of OpenSea competitor that's coming? And I had heard rumors about one that was ready to go. So my mind said, oh, is this it? And it doesn't seem to be it, actually, because the big news over the weekend for the SOS coin was that it kept making partnerships with different exchanges like KuCoin and Coinbase, who allowed it to be traded on their wallet app, though. That doesn't mean it was listed on the exchange. That's a different thing.
But so I think the ongoing joke in the chat right now is that SOS stands for Save Free Markets Microphone, as it sounds like you're sinking. Apparently it sounds like you're underwater.
All right,
I guess no, yeah, we talked about SOS a little bit, and some of the problems that OpenSea has, and this seems to be some kind of competitor to it. Decrypt did a really nice article on everything you need to know about OpenDAO's SOS token, which is the airdrop, and it was quite a nice Christmas present for everybody. And whether you sold or not, you're probably looking pretty good with it. But yeah, I mean, OpenSea is riddled with problems. Even just yesterday, some of the art blocks issues we had where people weren't able to get on there, weren't able to list, and the frustration's just compounding with, we understand how much money OpenSea actually brings in, and with their 2.5% cut of every NFT transaction they make, I gotta believe that while they have a wide moat and a pretty big first mover advantage in terms of like a wide, a large NFT marketplace right now, I think it's prime pickings for anybody that can get in there and execute quickly. As they seem to be in slow mode, getting ready for their IPO. Let's give your mic a try again if you're back.
Do I still sound underwater?
I'm gonna let the people decide here.
Oh, all right. Say something else then. Give me 1 second.
But it will be very interesting to see where this ends up going, and if it ends up being some kind of legitimate competitor. They have continued to announce partnerships. Obviously, Coinbase wallets can now claim the SOS token. There was a little bit of speculation that would actually be a partnership and a listing on Coinbase, but that would be pretty quick, even by Coinbase's standards. Looks like it's going to be on KuCoin. Looks like it's they're going to be partnering with an already decentralized exchange, and I think the sky's the limit. I actually ended up buying a little bit more, and I think I'm going to be holding on to this at least for like a medium term into the New Year's and see where it goes. I think it's going to be a good trade, and there could be more with it. I also saw some hints that you'd be able to mint your NFTs using SOS token.
Right. I think I sound better now. I figured it out. So my main takeaway from this, is that the entire NFT community is going to get behind this, right? So whether they have a working product, whether they have a plan, I'm not sure if it matters if everybody just decides, okay, this is the thing. And you had Vincent Van Dough and Fuck Render actually auctioning off a piece yesterday in SOS. 20 billion. Amazing. Or excuse me, 2 billion SOS, I think, was the starting bid. And this, whether it's a meme or whether they're going to put out an actual working product, obviously doesn't matter if they can garner enough support, right? NFT traders are different. We're very community oriented. We talk about the metaverse a lot. And what is the metaverse? Where can all these NFTs get together and play? Well, I think that having a token that we all decide, yeah, this is ours. This is what we should have had from OpenSea from the beginning. It just feels that way. So, could it go to zero? Sure. But given that it was free money, I think I'm willing to take the gamble here. I did buy more as well. That was mainly on the idea of it being an airdrop trade. You never sell airdrops in the first day. I still don't understand why people do it. They always tweet out, oh, free money. How do you not take the free money? I took the free money. Well, we're traders. We try to look at patterns in history. And so far, every airdrop has been a hold, at least for a few days, if not a few weeks. And some of them, like Uniswap, were holds for over a year. Seeing that $600 airdrop turn into over 20,000 if you had held it.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get caught up in like when I say very short-term sentiment, I mean like in the minute kind of sentiment. Because when this dropped, everyone was like, there was even the discussion that this wasn't worth the gas that it took to claim it. And like that flipped within like 4 hours to like, oh my God, like what a great Christmas, to, oh my God, like this thing is dead. Like it just goes up and down. And it's so easy. In my mind, I'm taking free tokens that I paid a little bit of gas to claim. And the upside is the sky's the limit to be corny about it. But like this literally just didn't cost me anything. And sure, I could have cashed out more. I was literally watching it while the top was in on Christmas Day, and I didn't, or was it Boxing Day? I didn't end up pulling the trigger on it, and I'm okay with that. Like it's fine. Like I could swap that out at any point, and even if this goes to zero, other than what I put into it, which wasn't huge, I'm no worse off than I was, December 23rd. But I do think what they're doing is very intriguing. And then I'm seeing somebody like Pranksy, who was airdropped 43 billion of them. And then he bought 30 billion more, and then he bought 40 billion more on the last dip. I mean, like this is, this is one of the biggest players in the NFT space that is basically saying like, I'm buying and holding this stuff. Seems like something to me.
People are looking for something to get behind. This gave them that perfect opportunity, and whether it works or not, I'm willing to take a gamble on the moonshot. I mean, people who even used OpenSea a little bit, by the time this thing, I mean, even now, it's sitting at that 0.00007. It's still a couple $100, which is more than grandma gave you for Christmas. So I think that's really fucking cool.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of upside to this. The market cap sitting at like a mere $262 million. We've seen absolute pure shit coins that just get by into the multi-billion dollars in market cap just on the meme ability alone. And like you said, the NFT community is very tight knit. Obviously, there's some inter-squabbling and, you know, tensions run high at times. But we're a small group of people, and we do love our causes to rally behind. And being anti-OpenSea definitely seems like one of them from time to time here. So, I mean, my bets are on that this isn't over with. It's been trading sideways for the better part of a day, and it could continue to do that for a little bit as people start to take your profits and stuff like that. But the other thing to remember is too that you have until I think it's June 20th of 2022 to claim the amount that you had on the day of the snapshot. So definitely not over yet.
I want to talk about market caps for a second, because in traditional markets, you use market caps within specific industries to figure out how to value companies relative to, say, the best in breed, right? And it's very different in crypto. You're really just looking at market caps to understand how much capital has the potential to flow to a certain idea, right? Given the size of a float and given things, the certain dynamics about the coin, we can pretty much understand if it hits a certain level of marketing or a certain level of hype, how much can flow in. The market cap's irrelevant. Saying that Doge shouldn't have a $32 billion market, like based on what? Like none of these market caps make any sense, right? First of all, most of these market caps are for the token, not the underlying network. And you can't equate the network's value to the token value. All these networks are worth a lot more than the underlying token. The Ethereum network transacts a lot more than the value of the Ether token. So using market cap as a tool is very important, but saying that this can't get to 1 or 3 or 10 billion because of X doesn't make a lot of sense. So yeah, supply locks, burning, and the use of said token certainly all matter. But as far as a random coin's ability to get up to anywhere from $1 to $30 billion market cap on hype alone without anything underpinning it, it's just very possible, given how much capital is in this market and where it flows.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And when I reference market cap, I'm really only using it as like a comparative nature to the other coins and whatnot, as well as kind of the multiples you can get from going from here. I mean, you know, even if it just makes it to that 1 billion mark, it's a 4x from here. And like, I mean, we see stuff just rip past that on a daily basis, honestly. So, I mean, I think there's a ton of upside. And if you're not overexposed to it, not a lot of downside to this right now.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's not necessarily something to chase, right? But if you were given it for free and you have the liquidity, it's worth a moonshot.
For sure. Okay, so on that note, let's finish off with some of the other cryptocurrencies that are going on right now. Having a nice little morning, actually. I was kind of opened these tabs up at about 6 this morning, 6 Eastern, and Bitcoin was at just over 50,000, and now it has run up to 51.5. Ethereum just crossed over 4.1 thousand right now. Looking pretty good, and we seem to be putting some distance in between those resistance points that we previously mentioned on the other show. Feels pretty good. And it feels like we're in a time where maybe the local bottom might be in. It seems to be shifting from a downward channel to, you know, we went through some sideways trading, and it looks like things are getting a little bit more bullish, I think.
Seasonality, it always dictates the macro direction of markets. Very rarely do we not follow seasonality, and we're going into the seasonally most bullish period of the year. It seems people are positioning themselves this way, and that's it. So I think that's what is occurring. Everything looks pretty bullish right now. Sentiment seem to have been reset a few times over the last couple months. So maybe the market is just dull enough to start to take off again.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we were kind of talking about, and this will be a good segue into NFTs, is that maybe tax harvesting is the majority of it is over. The real long-term traders and experienced people have probably started doing this in November. And early December. But I think now people are of the mindset of they've probably made most of the sales that they want to get their taxes in order. Maybe now have some fresh liquidity, especially with something like SOS taking place. And you see a comfort in buying right now. But in the comfort in buying, not a lot of people are wanting to sell. So you're getting these pumps in some of the altcoins, even Ethereum and Bitcoin now. And I think that it's creating this buy pressure where people aren't really looking to take any more profits, but they're comfortably sitting into new positions. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but it seems to kind of be the case that's going on.
Yes, it is a perfect storm in that regard. That there are people delisting, there is volume all of a sudden again, and we're entering bullish seasonality. So everything is lined up very well.
Yeah.
And we saw floors just across the board going crazy yesterday, especially in projects that had a moment. I've talked about this a lot. If there is a project out there and it had a moment, and there are so many of them sitting under 0.1, even under 0.05 right now, the minute the clock strikes midnight on December 31st, those projects are now historic. All of you are OGs. And over the next year, as people who have never even looked at an NFT or understand what it is start to come into the market, they're going to be looking to all of you for guidance. You're all going to be considered early. And many of the projects that we laughed at this year are going to be considered OG projects. So get ready for that. I think look at who people are positioning into right now. Your second and third tier elites, the one, Kaiju's up 100%, creatures up 75%, cryptodes up over 100%. These are the second tier elites that are not blue chips that over the last month people had left for dead. And I kept pounding the table and saying that these are the type they're better than buying an ape or a punk unless you're very wealthy. Sure, those are safer stores of value, we think. But if you want to talk about where you're going to get the best return, it's on these, second and third tier projects that are going to become next year's elites. There are quite a few of them that launched this year.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with everything that you just said. And looking at WGMI, I mean, it is now, as of yesterday, just like a sea of green. Again, one day changes on floor can be a little misleading, but right now we are just seeing like everything like up 100%, up 90%, up 95%. A lot of these are art blocks projects that we kept saying, is the bottom in on Gen Art, is the bottom in on Gen Art. Might actually be the case, despite some frustrating OpenSea issues. It looks like there's a lot of good run up on those. You mentioned cryptodes having a really good day, and not a lot of things are doing too bad. There's literally only 4 projects that are down on the one day over 10%. 7 day is a much the same as we, maybe look for the bottom to be in, but plenty of projects up over 100% just on 1 week. Peaceful Groupie is another one that sits out. Wolf Game looks like it's coming back a little bit, as some new stuff comes out of that. But the 3 that we've talked about and continue to just do so fucking well are the ape products, the Bored Ape Kennel Club, the Mutant Ape Club, and then of course Bored Ape Yacht Club itself. Bored Ape is now sitting at about a 60 ETH floor, and that's just had a crazy run up over the last little bit as we saw it very briefly flip punks. And then Mutant Apes was kind of the talk of the town yesterday. Mutant Apes is up to about a 12 ETH floor. Looking at that, it looks like maybe there was some profit taking or some undercutting right now. Yeah, 11.4, 11.5 is the floor right now. But I mean, this brand is just relentless right now.
Yeah, Doodles, everything is just, it's catching a pump. And there are a few, Cool Cats was the last one that kind of made it and got into that 10E club, and it's certainly seen a large pullback since then. But I think the next one that's going to get in there is Doodles. It itself was having a hell of a run yesterday. And I mean, Ape Kennel Club, I think, got up to 4 ETH. It's sitting at right now. You have Mutants at 12.
Yeah, Bored Ape is at 4.5 right now. Yeah.
Yeah, insane. And I think that everyone is speculating right now what the ratio of token distribution is going to be. Like, if apes earn 2, will mutants earn 1? That is what people are speculating. If that is true, then I could see the gap between mutants and apes closing a lot as well. I could see them getting up to 20 or 30 here. I did say they were going to get up to 20 last week, but I could see them getting up to half of what apes are based on what the token distribution looks like it's going to be.
Yeah, there's going to be some interesting stuff coming out of there. And I've also heard some rumors, and I don't know how substantiated they are, that there might be Mutant Dogs on the horizon.
Yep. Yeah, when the roadmap was released, the puzzle solvers that picked out the Easter eggs were hinting at that the Kennel Club was going to be the next one to receive utility. So whether that means we're getting Mutant Dogs now, or whether that means something else is yet to see. But I know people who were very bullish on the Kennel Club after that roadmap came out. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard not to be bullish on everything related to Bored Apes right now.
I mean, think about it. If Mutant Dogs come out and they're sitting at a 1 ETH floor, who isn't going to want to buy one just to get in the club?
Oh my God! Like, if you're liquid and you're willing to get into it, to grab one of these, I mean, we saw it with Mutant Apes. It was just a huge win, although it was expensive to get in. And I mean, when you zoom out on that chart, there's pretty much no point in history that you could have bought one of these and you'd be down right now, just with the way that they're constantly reaching new highs every day, it seems.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think,
unless you overpaid for a rare and that's completely illiquid, I don't know, but
no,
it just seems to be working.
Yeah, and I just think that the desire to be in this club is going to continue to grow. And unlike any other project, if they release more NFTs, I think the market will gobble them up.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, as Icon said in the chat, I mean, if you ever want to get yourself a Bored Ape, all you got to do is just send a Twitter DM, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. I'm kidding.
I was even thinking to myself this weekend, if I bought one, would I flex it? It just feels embarrassing.
You definitely puts a target on your back. But yeah, you also mentioned Doodles almost 4.5 ETH floor, and Cool Cats is just relentlessly running up to the 10 ETH floor. Lots of volume on that for such an expensive project, and yeah, the floor is looking pretty good. It was one of those days that, like, we kept saying, oh yeah, brace yourself for the slow week. What are we gonna do for the show? What are we going to find to talk about? We got to start thinking of topics now. And then Saturday and Sunday happened, and we were just like, oh my God, we kind of reconvened this morning and we're like, where the fuck do we start? I definitely think that one of the bigger ones that Alpha Mint was in on and was kind of the talk of the DGen dojo for probably the last 36 hours now, or maybe even more, was Alien Friends. That seemed to have a moment. It seemed to get sandwiched in between the Little Lemon Friends and the Coolmans Universe. And maybe we thought that its pump was short-lived. I think it got up to about 0.1 for a little bit there. And we're like, okay, that had its moment. We'll see where it is. That was not to be the case, as yesterday and I think late into Christmas Day, it just went absolutely bonkers, culminating in GaryVee buying them. And GaryVee is a whole other topic. But yeah, looking at OpenSea right now, this morning, it did hit a 0.4 ETH floor. This is a 0.02 mint. This was cheaper than Little Lemon Friends, and it is now up 20x just from the floor alone in just a matter of a week. And this thing has just turned into an absolute cook. So congratulations to anybody that minted that, is still holding that. If you took profits, I commend you. Like, this has been a great all-around mint, and a project that just not only doesn't seem to go away, but seems to be overcoming all of the other stuff around it.
Yeah, I think it had a lot of things going for it. I had typed up a small piece in Curated Alpha a few days before it dropped. I was not on the whitelist, but after they were minted, they were pretty much selling at mint price plus gas on OpenSea. And I liked the art. It was simple, but I did enjoy it. It is a little divisive. A lot of people think the art is trash. I actually like it. And I bought 8 of them because mainly I've followed Pape the Great for a while. I've chatted with him before. I think he's a smart guy. I think he's genuine about his love for NFTs. He had actually bought a few little lemons just the day before the Alien Friends launch and had hopped in the Discord to chat it up with people. Didn't even mention Alien Friends. And I just think that the project is going to do more than the JPEG itself. They've hinted at physicals like the clothes that the Alien Friends are wearing. And I think, unbeknownst to me, because I hadn't been involved in the Discord, they've built a nice little community over there of people who are to each other, of people who are excited to be part of that community and are excited to share them. And there was a little bit of contention, I think, in the DGen dojo because they had launched right in the meat of the lemon pump when lemons were at 0.27. And it looked like lemons could do no wrong, but we weren't really in the bull market yet that we're seeing right now where everything is up only. So traders started to try to get their ETH back so they could rotate into Coolmans and Alien Friends. But I love all 3 projects. I think all are going to come into their own over the next month. They'll all be above a 1 ETH floor. And I did sell 6 of my Alien Friends yesterday into the pump because I just think it's getting a little frothy for what it is. It's a huge 20x. I know people who minted are going to be taking profits as well, and these things tend to get ahead of themselves, but I like the project long term. They don't really have much of their roadmap out as far as I've seen, but I do like the project. So what a cook. Congratulations to anybody. I know a bunch of people were not only bought off the secondary, but some were in the whitelist, and they were able to mint 10. You know,
Amazing.
Let's look at the last 2 amazingly successful projects. They didn't say limit of 2 per mint, right? Now look at Coolmans Universe. That was very limited in how many you could mint. The unique owners was really high initially on Coolmans, but that was at a 0.3 before it revealed, and now it's sitting at 0.22, which is still a nice double from where it minted. But you wonder if maybe if you would just let people, mint a few more, let it sell out a little quicker, allow people to get excited about it. And Alien Friends, and Coolmans did have a fast mint out that was a little gassy. I just think that you whitelisted most of the customers, and that, we never agree with that method. But I love all 3 of these projects. Amazing cook for Alien Friends. I think they're going to do well.
Yeah, they seem to have a bright future ahead of them. I tend to agree with you. If I did have some, I would probably have sold into this volume already. Depending on how many I had my hands on, it definitely wouldn't have been all of them. But yeah, it's just it's pretty wild, the power of like GaryVee jumping into something. And really just like it was already on the way up, and then GaryVee just goes sweeping on the floor, and here we are, a cool 20x later.
Well, it's always interesting to me how and where these things are born out of, right? And a lot of times right now, it's that if you're part of an upstanding community like Cool Cats, as an example, and you get the right people to support you, you can start that hype train. And Andrew Wang of Cool Cats last week started sporting an Alien Friends, and he has a bit of influence in this world, and it already started interest in the Alien Pump, and then GaryVee really just cemented it. So
yeah, I gotta wonder how much of some of this is like planned partnership. I know you're a big proponent of maintaining your floor through dripping of announcements rather than putting everything out all at the front. Like if this had been all pre-reveal or even pre-mint, they were like, oh yeah, GaryVee's involved and like the Cool Cats like it and stuff like that. it kind of loses its luster, right? And I don't think that they're kind of back channeling with GaryVee to be like, buy now, buy now, buy now. But you know, I think that there's probably an element of some of it where Gary's probably reached out and said, hey, I really like your project, as he tends to do, hop into smaller discords. Also, speaking of GaryVee, congratulations on the GaryVee follow on the weekend. There was some skeptics in the DGen dojo when you posted that maybe it was Photoshop or something, but GaryVee, yeah, follows Free Market Capitalist on Twitter right now.
So GaryVee had put out a tweet talking about how NFTs were entertainment properties. And this is something I have talked about for a while because I find media and entertainment very interesting, and how on its face it looks like people trying to make art and appeal to you, but behind the scenes it's Moneyball, and people are using statistics and how many viewership hours is the big one, right? And all the streaming services, they're competing for your viewership hours. And I believe OpenSea and NFTs are doing that as well. You know, we already know video games compete with movies and TV for people's time. And I think NFTs are doing that as well. This is one giant, we're not sure how it's played yet, but I basically responded to him that that's how we've been looking at That's how I have been looking at NFTs for a long time, as entertainment properties, and we should be viewing them as Netflix. And briefly after, he followed me. So,
yeah, for sure, it was a good tweet. I think you got him on the Merry Christmas thing too. I think you went out of your way to use some of your characters to wish him a Merry Christmas, and most people that were responding didn't. But I say that tongue in cheek, a well-deserved follow, and hopefully that opens up his DMs to you, and we can maybe get him on the show or something.
Yeah. We'll see. I'll be treating that relationship very gently. He's a busy man, and we'll see. We'll see what we can arrange. Thank you for the follow, Gary. If you're listening, hope to see you in here soon.
Talk about somebody that went absolutely ballistic on sweeping the floors, though, yesterday. As we alluded to, he was not only bringing out the brooms to any and all projects that he liked, but actively encouraging other people to do it on Twitter as well. Moving on, we also talked about Coolmans Universe. It's actually doing really well, too. The recipient of a nice little pump. The one thing that I noticed was having a great little run, which was really surprising to me. I should say surprising. I did mint a bunch of them, and I know a bunch of alpha minters did too. We had a nice little voice chat doing it. Was the Solarbots. Just wanted to bring that up. I woke up to it this morning at about a 0.19 floor. It has since kind of depressed back to 0.16. But one thing that's really crazy about this project is the amount of items that are actually up for sale. I mean, this is a 40,000 drop. The drop mechanics were pretty interesting behind it with, you paid 0.2, but you got 4. It was a total set of them that were able to use in the game that they're releasing. But when you look at the buy it now on OpenSea, like, it is just absolutely wild. For a 40,000 drop, there's only less than 500 of them listed. And these things just kind of, every time I check, 12 hours later, they seem to just be up another 0.02, 0.03. The other thing that's really crazy about them is the voids, which are the rares, are actively going for plus 10 ETH. Like, they're just getting scooped up every time that they are posted. And I think I've seen them as high as 17 ETH. I'm just going to check that right now. But Solarbots has been an absolute cook for anybody that got involved in that. And there's definitely more to come. So big shout out to Yamar, who brought us to that, and I think he's involved in it in some way, shape, or form. And I would love to be able to get some people from Solarbots to come talk about their project more in depth. I know that they have like a huge white paper. It's like 60 pages or something, which I can barely read a book that's 60 pages long, but I think it's gonna be interesting. I've been tempted to sell them here and there. I just can't seem to do it for some reason. So I don't know. I'm going to wait until the new year, see what goes on with this. But, normally what I try and do, especially with my trading strategies, is that, I mint, between 5 and 10, or like with Lemon Friends, 15 of them, and then look for a point where I could pretty easily break even by selling a couple of them, especially if I pull a rare or two, get back most of the liquidity I sunk into it, if not a little bit of profit, and then hold on to them and then kind of ladder out as they go up and up. That's my personal strategy. Solarbots has had something to it that just has made me want to hold all of them that I minted. And, you know, I don't know why, but I find it very intriguing that this is a 40,000 item mint and it's still doing this. You know, even just the floors on the epics, which weren't super rare. Of the 8 that I minted, I pulled 1, but the floor is 0.33 on that. So, I mean, this has been a great little thing, and they're doing a slow reveal of the different classes too. It's, you know, RPG based, and you're going to see them slowly drip out the reveals on the actual artwork behind these. So yeah, as Yamar said, the epic chance is 12%. So, you know, if you minted 8 of these, the odds are that you got 1, which holds true for what I got. Some people got luckier, and the voids I think were sub 1%, and they are showing it. But yeah, I always found it really interesting that when the floor was 0.06, 0.07, the voids were still going for 10 ETH or more, and regularly too. So it kind of just showed to me that people were willing to jump in there with some money and really, you know, participate in this. So hopefully we can do a little deeper dive on a full episode of these, because I think a lot of people are watching them too. Free market, you back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, perfect. Any thoughts on Solarbots? I know it's not something that you entered.
Yeah, no, I hadn't entered that one. The supply looked pretty high, but I did love the art, and I'm not surprised to see it cooking because the art's really cool, but you definitely have a better take than me. You were following it deeply.
Sorry, my dog decided to warn me that there's probably danger at my front door, but I think I'll be fine. Jesus. Yeah, anyways, moving on from Solarbots, definitely something I'm going to be continuing to watch. And like I said, hopefully we can do a whole episode on it, because I think there's a lot going on there. The other one that I saw that was doing really well was the Psychedelics Anonymous, which was the Voltura drop. There's a lot of different elements to this, but basically the drop price was, I think, 0.06, and it is sitting at almost a 1 ETH floor right now, pre-reveal. So there's this has been an absolute cook, maybe one of the bigger ones in terms of like raw ETH value from minting. But I'm not sure when the reveal is, but have you been watching that as well?
Yes, I have been watching that one a little closer than the last one. I'm sorry, say that name again.
The Psychedelics Anonymous one.
So it was funny because Voltura, he did make a comment on Twitter. He does not want people to list. He does not want people talking about what prices you should be listing at within his Discord. And I always think that that's pretty funny. That he is basically stifling free speech within his Discord. Now, I kind of agree with his sentiment that people shouldn't be trying to scare or bully people into not listing or listing at a certain price. I completely agree with that sentiment, but I think it completely nullifies it when you go, but I will ban you if you do. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of control the conversation and maybe steer it away from talks of price altogether. But yeah, being in there, I mean, not quite the extreme as we saw with those crypto champions, where the guy kind of jimmied up this price selling agreement where if you listed below a certain price that you were banned and basically exiled from the community. But yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, you just need to keep the conversation productive about the project and about where it can go from there. And I think, you know, other than for some pretty explicit reasons, like just threatening bans one way or another is a good way to kind of just chop down any kind of conversation you're having within your community and your Discord. And I don't love to see that, but obviously they're doing something right. There's a couple of different facets to this project with a mint pass, the profile picture Element, which is the one I'm looking at right now, that's about 0.85 ETH. And, you had your option if you're on the whitelist of minting one of each of these. And I believe, they're 0.06 each, if I recall correctly. So that's going to be pretty cool. More 3D art, it looks like. They look pretty intricate, varying. It looks pretty high quality, as, we've seen a couple of other NFT projects do really well in that light as well. So we'll see if that can continue on the trend, or maybe if it'll be kind of the signal that it's over at the end of this.
You see this a lot in Discords. I've been seeing it in the Lemon Discord too, right? People know that in the most successful projects, they don't talk about the floor a lot in their Discords. And that's more of a myth than truth. But if you see it, like, for example, in the Lemon Discord, if people start talking about price, you see the Lemon Police come out. We don't talk about floors here and blah. It's like, to be a successful community, the floor talk needs to go away naturally. If you try to force it, you're creating the same artificial environment that people who talk about floor price are. So you just have to let these things happen. Don't rush it.
Yeah, it's like when a pitcher's on the way to a no-hitter, you just don't even say anything at all. Don't even talk about it. Just let it happen.
Let it happen.
And if it doesn't happen, then nobody can say you jinxed it if you're superstitious, or if you're not, maybe that you kind of willed it into existence by having the discussion. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I think you kind of tried to dunk on him too when he said that, but I don't think he got a response. But last thing,
respond to me. No,
that's okay.
Respond to me. I did make a conversation comment. Irony is dead, because I find it ironic that he yells at people, "Don't be dictators," and then he's a dictator. So.
There it is. I think the last thing that we kind of had queued up to talk about just was the non-fungible people. Pre-sale is over on that. The public sale looks like it's about 2 p.m. Eastern today, and this is a 0.2 ETH mint, if I recall correctly, sitting at about 0.25. So when you factor in some gas prices on that, it's not sitting terribly over the mint price.
Well,
but lots of volume on it.
I should explain this. Go for it. So the mint price was different for each pre-sale. If you were in tier 1, you minted at 0.05. If you were in tier 2, you minted at 0.08, and the public mints at 0.2. So this project is created by artists from Daz 3D, which is the company that collaborated with Artifact on CloneX. So if you look at these, they obviously are 3D realistic looking NFTs that will have more function than just the picture itself. If you saw the pods that were dropped to all the CloneX holders over the weekend for Christmas, it was part of the Daz 3D package, where you will be able to use these players essentially as video game characters to move amongst the various metaverses. So they're pricing these higher because these are more than just the NFT themselves. They whitelisted, I want to say, half the supply, and the other half will be going up for public sale. Or was it a little less than half? I forget.
Right now there's about 4,200 minted out of the 8,888. Okay. So yeah, about half right now.
About half. So right now it's sitting at about what the public price is plus gas. But if you did mint in either of the pre-sales, you're either up 4x or 2x as we speak.
Yeah. What is your take on allowing people to mint at different prices throughout the pre-sale? Are you a fan of this? Because CloneX did it, obviously.
Yeah, I think this is a company that isn't NFT native, and I don't think anybody who is in NFTs would do it this way. But on some level, it almost makes me have more faith in the project, in the sense that they're coming from the outside world, where their competencies are in making this type of stuff for traditional art and media. So maybe they don't understand the proper launch dynamics, but I believe their pedigree and the people who are supporting them will make this project successful. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with mine. They're not my style. So I'm not, unless I get like a very special one that somehow speaks to me, I'm not looking to keep them, and I'm not really sure when to sell. It's a really nice 10x, pretty much. Excuse me, 5x.
Yeah.
If I sold right here. So I am contemplating it, since the art isn't really my style, but I could definitely see these pumping to 0.4 or 0.5, depending on what this company has up their sleeve, or what kind of marketing they have after the launch. I don't know if there's going to be a gas war at 0.2. It's a lot to sell out at 0.2.
There's they are very very realistic, almost to the point where I almost wish they had a little bit more stylization to them. But they do look really good, and up against each other, it looks like they've got some variety to what's going on, and some pretty cool traits that they have access to doing. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch this. I have no stake in the game in this, so I mean, it's more just sitting from the sidelines, but I think that they have the potential to look pretty good kind of once they're all released and you see them all side by side. So I hope that they did a good job of having some variety, just even for the lesser rare traits. But sometimes the ultra realistic stylization can suffer from that.
I don't know. They're very, very, very well done. They just are very creepy to me. I'm not sure I would want this to represent me in the metaverse, but I think there are 7 billion people in the world, and there are 10,000 or 8,000 people who would want this to represent them. So,
yeah. The great thing about these numbers is 10,000 can seem like a lot in the meta that we're in, although maybe we're shifting away from that. But once you start inviting the masses in, those numbers become very, very, very small.
Yep.
So, all right. Anything else that you want to finish off on? I think we can probably start getting the Q&A session going. I'm going to set that up so we can feed the audio into Discord. But what else are you thinking about?
This is something I flagged over the weekend as an Alpha Mint alert, because I had seen some talk about it on Twitter, and it was subsequently talked about 3 more times after that as the rumors hit a fever pitch. But it seems that Genie.xyz, if you don't know who they are the product or the dApp that allows you to buy more than one NFT at a time across multiple marketplaces. It's basically a DEX aggregator, but for NFTs, and allows you to sweep or buy multiples at a time. After the SOS airdrop, after the ENS airdrop, and before the MetaMask airdrop, this does seem to be rumored as the next big one. So it is a safe site to go to. I can drop the Discord just so you guys can check your official links, but it is Genie.xyz. And while we have no details and we have no absolute confirmation a token is coming, we assume that by using their product, and I don't know if it will be based on how much you use it, though that is very likely. But the only reason we say that is because Uniswap was not based on how much you used it. Everybody got the same amount just for using it. If you had even made one transaction on Uniswap, you got the same amount as Whales. The difference was depending on how many wallets you hooked up to it. So if you have 5 wallets, I would hook all 5 wallets up to Genie, and I would at least buy one thing. You don't have to sweep. You can just buy one thing at a time, and there may be a slightly higher fee with the gas. I have heard from people, though I've also heard that. So I would go use that with your wallet or multiple wallets to make yourself eligible for that airdrop.
Yeah, airdrops just seem to be another, really back on the radar again. We had the ENS one, God knows how long ago. It feels like years, but it was probably just about 2 months ago, I think. And then SOS kind of brought that back into the mainstream. Obviously, Genie is another one that people are looking at. And as you mentioned, MetaMask. MetaMask almost seems like a foregone conclusion. Joe Lubin was on the Up Only podcast. It basically just said that MetaMask was going decentralized, which would imply a token around it. But also one thing that struck me as interesting was in the tax conversation we had with Peter and Rich on, I believe it was Thursday, which is up on our YouTube, and you can go check it out. Great conversation if you're worried about taxes all, as well as they mentioned that with some of the regulations that might be coming into the States, a wallet like MetaMask would be ripe for the picking to be obligated to do a KYC. So I think that they're probably looking to go decentralized and do a token offering as well. And as we were kind of talking in the pre-show, I got to believe that their usership, if everything had to be KYC, would drop off pretty dramatically, I think.
Yeah, definitely. KYC is the death knell for any of these decentralized services. I think that is, everyone expects it to happen with OpenSea, given that A16 and other venture capitalists are involved. That's why we don't think there's going to be a token. That's why SOS had such a great pitch or marketing to OpenSea users for that reason. And MetaMask could definitely try to avoid it by handing out this token. It would be a smart move. I don't know if OpenSea has that option anymore, but I definitely could see MetaMask doing it.
Yeah, I think OpenSea has gone too far down. I mean, this is a company that is going public, and the market is desiring traditional exposure to NFTs as well. So I don't think there's any turning back for OpenSea. But MetaMask definitely seems to be one of the next on the list for sure.
It's all right, the big one.
If anybody wants to put their hands up, come say hi. Let us know how your Christmas was, or how you did on SOS. If you're holding, if you've decided to sell. I see a couple of hands going up here, so I'm not sure how to say your name. Zikoki?
Yeah, it's Zikoki. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. So I'm actually a new member, and I just got my Alpha Mint last week, and I'm enjoying my time here so far. It's been great being a part of this community.
Amazing. We're happy to have you. I've definitely seen you around a bit too.
Yeah, I finally decided to pull the trigger on that.
Awesome.
So I had a quick discussion point about the littles. I hear a lot of discussion about the littles on the morning show. I listen on the YouTube VOD, and like the playbook hasn't fully been revealed yet, and a lot of people are speculating about what these big collaborations are with Kongs and Cool Cats and Subducks and Kaijus. And one through line between all those collaborations has been the tokens that they all generate, and all of them being like some of the most valuable tokens in the NFT space. And I was comparing it to a stock ETF, where a stock ETF, like for example, SPY, holds like all of like the blue chip stocks like Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and you as a buyer like hold SPY and you own a portion of all of those blue chip stocks. So I was thinking maybe with the littles, with the utility, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. With the collaboration with Banana, Milk, R-Waste, Volt, and there's a fifth one that's not announced yet, but word on the street is it might be Bored Ape Yacht Club's future token. Do you guys think that's a possibility with the littles, and that could be their utility for the user?
Well, the littles is building an arcade where you will be able to take these various utility tokens and gamble them within certain games and use them for certain activities. And I love the product. I think one of the huge themes in 2022 is going to be interoperability, right? That's what the metaverse is. It allows all these characters to play together. And I think the littles is going to be a central player in that. I love the art. I love the concept that they're putting together. And while the details on exactly how you will gamble these tokens in the arcade have not been released yet, I am really into this model. I am really into interoperability. And I think it's going to be so much fun. I think people are going to really be looking to these as the next P2E plays in the coming year.
So you don't think that there's going to be a certain yield? It's just going to be using the tokens within the arcade, and then you could transform your little based on those tokens, right?
I don't know. The only thing I know so far is that you'll be able to use the tokens in the arcade. Beyond that, all speculation. I have no idea.
Okay.
That would be really cool if the littles yielded these tokens, and it would make sense if they did it by taking a fee. So if you play the arcade game with 100 banana, 5 banana is put into a pool that's then distributed to littles holders. That would make sense to me.
I see. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
I think
Appreciate it.
it's a really cool question. And, the littles is something that kind of, I don't want to say fell off of the radar, but had a really, really successful launch, and just seems to kind of be there doing stuff. And the way that they kind of shut down all the naysayers, including us, who are a little bit skeptical of maybe the high mint price, or at least we were intrigued by it. I think that there's tons of interesting stuff that they could do, as Free Market said. So yeah, I appreciate you coming up here, and welcome to Alpha Mint.
Thank you, guys. I'm happy to be here, and I look forward to coming up in the future as well. Thank you.
Anytime you want, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Zakokwi.
Grab Cass up here. Wish him a Merry Christmas again. My friend, how are you? Good morning, GM.
GM, how are you guys?
Oh, feeling good. Happy to get back on the stage and get back to it.
Hey, what a past couple of days, eh?
Unreal. I can't believe that thought we were in for a quiet week before New Year's, and boy was I wrong.
Trust me. From the last time I spoke to you guys, I think it was had an argument with the missus. Christmas Eve was more or less dead. Christmas Day was amazing.
Yep.
Because I left everything alone, although I really wanted to jump on the screen. And by the time I was able to get on the screen and looking at the history of everything, I was like, are you taking the... Because in my head, it was going to be like, everything's low at the moment. Wait until Boxing Day, 27th, 28th. Deals are going to be there. Let's scoop up.
And no deals to be had yesterday.
My days. OS broke down like God knows how many times. I can name NFT after NFT that were just mooning. Apocalyptic Apes. Heard of it?
It sounds familiar, yeah.
Dude, like I was on the whitelist for that. And when I was looking in the Discord and the rest of it, I honestly thought another fake ape made by apes. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Let me just leave this alone. And I did a mint. And it went below mint price, 0.06. I think it was Christmas Eve. Yeah. I'm seeing near a 1E floor.
What?
Literally, dude. Like, literally.
Wow.
Right? The last time I looked at it...
Oh, my God. I didn't even see these beyond hearing the name.
Dude,
yeah, and Rich the Kid had been pumping these. So.
Are you serious? Because that was more or less dead. No, there was just loads, just absolute cool cats, kaiju's a little bit, lemons a little bit, alien friends. Oh my God, I sold my
Unreal.
red right at 0.17. I sold it at, and I thought I'm just do you know how I'm feeling? Anyway.
It's one of those things where we love to say profit's profit, but at the same time, I mean, it's I know you don't, and I mean, no, honestly, there is an element of it where you got to be careful about saying that too. And I'm not trying to shoot you down, Cass, because you obviously took some away from it, but when you're kind of doing the venture capitalist model of like spreading a lot of ETH around to these other projects, some of which inevitably go to zero, you definitely need some of these bigger home runs to kind of make up for it, depending on if that's your strategy or not.
Do you know what? It's a bit weird. Like normally I'm like free market, buy, hold, leave, enjoy the community, enjoy the vibe. Like even the Littles vibe, like I've seen Zakoki in the Littles, and even the vibe there when the party was going on, it was unreal. Even that had a bit of a pump. Swampverse had a pump.
Mm-hmm.
And none of
Oh, Swampverse. Yeah, I haven't even checked in on that one. The list just goes on and on. Like it's just wild what happened yesterday.
And I couldn't even get on to play. So I just thought, you know what? Let me just stick with my whitelist. Let me just forget this, but remember it for next year. And yeah, but no, it was unreal. It was unreal. Such an amazing run for a lot of things. And hope you guys' Christmas was cool.
Yeah, everything was great, man. Yours was good too.
Yeah, it was alright.
Good.
It was okay. Oh, and SOS. Fuck me.
That old thing.
That thing. Oh, dude, it was just one after another after another. It was just unreal. Absolutely unreal. But yeah, no, it's cool. That was basically what I just said. Was just the excitement of the past couple of days. Was like, oh my god, how heart palpitating.
Yeah.
I just took a screenshot of SOS and put it in the general so you could see what the price is.
Is it 666?
Yeah.
Is it?
I've had that chart up on a window nonstop for it. Oh, it's already changed.
Yeah, I just thought it was a good omen there.
There you go. Well, Cass.
Right, on that note, I'm gonna go. I shall catch up with you soon, man.
Yeah,
Tomorrow.
of course. We're going strong throughout the week, so we'll look forward to seeing you then, my friend.
Merry happy holidays.
Happy holidays, guys. I will speak to you guys soon. No.
Let's bring up Josh.
You know what, R2?
What's going on?
I think creature toads are going to flip creatures.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Before March, yep.
Creature toads?
Does that sound like a ridiculous...
How do I spell that?
Creature toads. All right. The creatures community is in absolute shambles. I know they've had a bit of a dead cat bounce here over the last day. But I want you to put a creature up on the screen and then put it next to a creature toad. And you tell me which of these damn things is better art.
I mean, here's what I'm going to do. I guess I'm just going to make a bet with you that this isn't going to happen, but I'm also going to go buy like 6 of these as a hedge against that bet and feel pretty good about it. They do look pretty good. And then there's some other announcements that are coming out of them with like breeding and stuff like that. But, you know, as I was talking to you about, I start to get lost with that stuff, to be honest with you.
I think that it would just be a really good story if creature toads flipped creatures.
So tell me you own more creature toads than creature toad or creatures without telling me you do.
All right. No, that community feels depressing.
What, the creatures?
Yeah, I'm gonna call it right now. They're weird.
Well, they had some issues.
They're strange.
Well, there was some fun. I don't know if we ever really got to the bottom of it, and you know, there was.
I did. Well, you know why I'm talking about it, because a young gentleman and king named Jack runs the Lemon Spaces at night, and he's a big creature bull. And I asked him about creature toads, and he went on a rant about how all derivatives are doo-doo. Nobody should touch them. Okay. And he doesn't invest in derivatives, which definitely didn't sound elitist to me at all in the slightest, and Rand. But what it did do was inspire me to buy more creature toads this morning. And I thought to myself, with this community in shambles, with mediocre art that's been one-upped by a derivative, wouldn't it be a fun story sometimes towards the end of February if creature toads actually flipped creatures? That just seems newsworthy. That seems like a good headline. We brought Josh up, and I just walked all over.
I was going to say, Josh, how are you doing?
Hi,
What's
Josh.
your take on creature toads?
Hey, I'm just here enjoying the conversation. I agree, though, man. Creature toads are pretty sweet, but man, creatures have that deep, weird, what the hell is this thing kind of thing that I think has a little bit of staying power, you know?
They have a niche for sure, and we've talked about that a lot. It's important to have your niche. And weird is absolutely a niche.
They're like a funky blue cheese, you know? Like not everybody's gonna love it, but it does something for some people.
You know what I love every time we bring you up here is we get some kind of analogy between NFTs and food.
Well, he's a connoisseur. He lives in the Pacific Northwest. Like, if you're not a food connoisseur and you live in the Pacific Northwest, you're not taking advantage of your surroundings.
That's right. Hey, why else would you be here, man?
Thank
It's all
you.
about the food.
First it was the Doritos spice, and now we got the funky blue cheese.
Mm.
We need
There
to
we
add
go.
those to, like,
Doritos,
the
Locos
food of the day
tacos.
segment.
The
Oh, yeah.
Doritos Locos
Oh, yeah.
Taco Bell is very godly.
Here's a
You
hot
should try it.
take
Free market.
that a lot of people don't agree with. I do not like Doritos.
Neither do I. It's the
Oh, okay.
Doritos.
I thought I was about to say something
This
that was
is
going
the
to get me booed
Doritos
off
taco.
stage.
Right. It's a thing.
Oh, the taco.
You need the
right.
sour cream and that processed meat. It all comes together. You'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
R2 DGen, let me paint a picture for you. It's 4 a.m. You've been drinking all night. You just
That's
ripped the
never
bong
happened.
with a bunch of friends. Where are you gonna go? What are you gonna get? It's Doritos tacos, no doubt about it. That's where you're gonna be at.
Are you on the marketing team for this? That was amazing. Like, I'm a hook, line, and sinker. If they have that in Canada, I am getting one of those today.
Mm.
You guys get all the
Could
fun
be
stuff
regional.
down there, though. Mine's just the normal.
Oh man. Well, guys, appreciate it. Hey, I just one thing is I just had an idea as I was coming up here, which is a suggestion to at the end of the episodes do a quick recap, because I think a lot of us are coming on like halfway through ish,
Oh, that's a
just
cool
because it's
idea.
early morning in other time zones. I was just thinking about that, and I was like, yeah, man, like I really want to know what the top 5 takeaways are from the weekend, but am I going to have a chance to listen back to the rest today? Probably not. So anyway, just an idea. Let's see. What did I come up here to ask about? Can I remember? Oh, yeah. So I was just, what did I participate in? It was there was a pause war thing a little while ago. I was wondering if we ever talked about that for the bunnies. It was Paw Wars Genesis for, I think it was for a branch off of the, who remembers the name? Because I don't.
Bad Bunnies.
The Bad Bunnies, yeah. We just
Did
wanted
that
to
ever
watch you
come up
struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, hey man, I haven't had the coffee yet. I have an excuse, I swear. Yeah, I was just wondering what the deal is with that. If you guys knew, I think I saw maybe Drip minted it or somebody minted it like that, and I was like, I trust you guys. I like Bad Bunnies. I'm gonna go for it. But I don't even know what they are or what they do. I'm just curious what. Yeah.
First, I'm going to direct you to the YouTube, because we did an interview with the creator about Paw Wars and Carrots, which is their token that's coming up. But
way ahead of you, yeah.
Yeah, but here's basically the dynamic. These Genesis tokens have 2 functions. You will either be able to stake your bunnies in them to earn carrots, which should be starting in about a month or sometime in the first quarter, or you can burn one of these Genesis tokens and receive the physical TCG card packs that they have designed. So there are only 258 minted so far. There are 2,500 total. None have been listed for sale. So the people that minted these are obviously fans of the Bad Bunny franchise. But as far as being a hot mint that you're going to make any money off of, the Paw Wars Genesis token has 0 volume traded right now on the collection. I minted
and unfortunately, they've only minted about 250 out of the 2,500 right now, too.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what their plan is if it doesn't mint out. Now, they had assumed that about half of them would be burned for physical packs, and the other half would be used in the game for staking, for carrots, and such. I'm curious to see if they respond by maybe burning all the because they assumed 1,250 card packs was going to be rare, but if they only have to make 125, that makes them even more rare. But at the same time, I don't think they feel particularly pressed. This is kind of an add-on to their current collection. And I think that they're also going for Coinbase, right? So if we see over the next week or two some news that Coinbase is going to be adopting Bad Bunnies, and we do think they are a very good candidate given the type of art, very high quality. There is the card game around it, and it just has mainstream look and appeal to it. The creators did say that they had been courted by Cartoon Network for a show before this had happened. And We definitely like the project. I bought another bunny recently, and I got 5 Genesis tokens. I'll be burning 2 of them for the card packs, and I'm not sure exactly how the staking works, but I may have to buy more to be able to stake all my bunnies. One really cool thing about it was that, as you know, these bunnies have different levels within each respective gang. You could be anywhere from level 1, which is like a peon, up to level 8, which is the boss of said crew. And the bosses earn more carrots than the peons. And I love that because it makes sense that they would earn more if they being the boss of these gangs. And that's basically what they're for. So do you own any bad bunnies?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah,
oh, cool.
Yeah.
So that would be, yeah, so that would be why you would mint the Genesis token. I am going to also post the Medium article, which gives details on staking. So it'll give you a better idea of whether you need to mint 1 for each of your bunnies, or whether you can just say mint 1 to get your card pack and then mint another one in which you could stake all the bunnies into it. I'll get that article to you.
Yeah, I mean, that was
much appreciated. Yeah, I full degened into that thing without really thinking about it and went, oh, okay, physical cards are cool. If that's what I get out of it, great. But I like the staking element as well. It's cool.
Yes.
They're a team that's definitely focused around quality too. I mean, they do good work. They're consistent, and they've kept at it through thick and thin. It was a great interview. It was good to have Can Opener back on the show, and you know they've got a core community that's around them, and it'll be, you know, we'll be keeping an eye on what happens with the mint there, as it's been slow going for the past week, but you know, hopefully they get there and it works out for them.
I want the iPad.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, no, it seems cool though. I'm happy I asked and learned a little more about it after just full degenning into it. Cool
and
stuff. Hey, and I was
revealed.
I was gonna say, yeah, the Ronin cats revealed.
Yeah,
I don't
really
know if anything's picked back up, but they look great. Yeah,
they're still working on fixing it. But Josh, I just invited Ecclesi up. I saw him have his hand up and then he put it down, but I just wanted to give him a chance to talk. I'm not sure if he still wanted up on stage, but he did accept it. So I'm gonna invite him up here. You're more than welcome to stay with us.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
GM, my friend, what's going on?
Hey, GM guys, GM. Eventful weekend, sure.
What's that?
This morning.
Oh, you're cutting out today.
Can you hear me?
Barely. You got the robot voice going on.
Can you guys hear me right now?
Now you're good.
Now we can. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I should have better reception. Okay. Yeah, GM. Eventful morning. I'm sure you guys were itching to start the show this morning, huh?
Didn't even know where to start, man. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of projects, you know, got that little pump from SOS. I'm still holding. I don't know. I feel like, you know, with kind of the stimulus that it provided to the NFT space, and you know what we've seen the past couple of days, the fact that it's still, I mean, it's kind of holding on a little bit. I'm just going to hold it a little bit longer, I think, and see where it goes. But I did want your guys' opinion on Galactic Apes. It was my first project that I got into pre-reveal several months back, and I ended up pulling my PFP that you see now, but I've been pretty attached to him and the community kind of through this whole thing. Previous all-time high was 2.7 floor.
Yep.
And I think the missions, the big thing that kind of everyone's been waiting on for utility, I think that's going to happen honestly any day in January. And I think if it's timed right, that you could see Galactic Apes right back at that previous all-time high or somewhere around there.
I thought, yeah, I mean, I thought that the fact that it was at, well, I think I saw it as low as 0.17 in the last couple of days was absolutely criminal, because even if you strip away any kind of utility that these have had, they are like just pure top tier art and profile pictures. Obviously, you said 2.7 ETH. It was one of the first projects that I minted, and one of the first ones that I did really, really well on as well. So I'm right there with you, and I definitely have an emotional attachment to them. But it definitely suffered from some stagnation, some lack of expectation meeting. He had a hard time. He announced the monkeys, and then it just didn't happen. He kept pushing it back, and then there was, gas is high, blah blah blah. And it's one of those things that I feel like, unfortunately, as good as the art is, Wes has pretty frequently overpromised and underdelivered, at least on the execution of stuff. I mean, if there's one thing that through and through that's always been good, is that the art has been. And I think that the floor and people's tolerance for it has suffered. But I think I checked it this morning, and it was back up to 0.35 and on the mend. And I just think that it was criminally undervalued there for a second, and that even just the art art being that good just shouldn't have fallen that low. But I mean, I think now that he's hired some community managers, some people to kind of refocus and recenter and help the project along, I think we'll start to see things on the right track. And he was adamant about not doing a token, and then he kind of backtracked on that and decided to do it. I think was the right move. So I think it's going to take a little while, and showing some goodwill towards the community on solid execution and consistency. But I'm right there with you. I think that 2.7 ETH is totally doable if the project continues to roll the way that it has been.
Right. Yeah, and
someone called the bottom last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were on the show just saying, like, it's got to be a buy here. I mean, it doesn't feel like one of those projects that can go below a 0.1 floor.
Right. And you also want to have what's called a contra. There are certain people you follow for great advice, and then there are certain people you follow to do the exact opposite of what they do. And boy, there were some people selling gapes last week that made me say this is probably a bottom.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. Like, when I initially joined the project and heard about missions and stuff, I had no clue it was going to take this long. But I will say, especially as of recent, the vibes in the Discord, they're better than ever. And I really think, you were allotting to, you want to be in the projects that they just don't talk about the floor. And it's not something that's forced. It's just something that just doesn't happen. And, for the past 5 months in Gapes, or I guess the past 2 months where things have been struggling, I really could probably count on two hands how many times I saw talk about how low the floor was getting, so just the community, and I guess the trust with Wes and missions is why I love it so much. And then the other thing is, I also tend to think that a lot of NFT projects tend to just rush things like drastically. Like, to me, like, we're so early in this space and there's so much to develop that if I have to wait for a product that is just so intricate and so unique, then, I'm willing to do that. I'm not just looking for constant flips all the time. So I am semi-bullish too on just how long missions are taking. And I know that they don't have a huge team, but I do think they're just hammering down every little detail. And I think missions will be something that, the space just really hadn't seen before. And I think it's just going to be really cool to think that you have basically, just an artificial monkey crew, often some, make-believe universe making you yield, so I'm really excited for it.
Yes, I know that R2 also loves the gapes.
I had my mic muted. Yeah, I thought you were going to buy one. What I was saying while my mic was muted was just that, I think the biggest fault of the Galactic Apes was just the managing of expectations, not the actual execution or the timeline that things had. And, I think that projects that get things right and take the extra time to do it, it's never a bad thing, but it's just the timeline that you're promising should be at least close to the timeline that you deliver on.
Right. Yep, no doubt about that. Cool. We'll keep an eye on it, guys. And for anyone out there looking to join a good community around that 0.3 ETH with some future potential, we'd love to have you in Galactic Apes. So
amazing. All right, thanks,
All
dude.
right, guys. Thanks.
Did you see the picture of Vitalik looking like the Terminator that tries to kill Arnold Schwarzenegger in T2?
No, I didn't see that.
I just posted AM show chat. Tell me you'd fuck with this Giga Chad right here. Tell me again.
All right.
Tell me again ETH2 is going to take 10 years. Say it again to my face.
We're 6 months away from being 6 months away, for sure. All right. On that note, we are going to wrap it up. It was a good show today. There's going to be lots more to talk about throughout the week. So we're going to go all the way through until Friday, and then we'll wrap up the New Year's. We'll have some year in review shows that we're going to do, and we'll talk about some of the great stuff to look forward to in 2022. But on that note, I'm going to finish it off. If there's anything else you want to leave us off with, Free Market?
I believe that's it.
Yeah, we're good to go. All right. So thanks so much for anybody that tuned in late. Josh had a great idea of doing a quick recap. I will try and write something like that out so I'm a little bit more prepared for it. But if you did miss any of this show or any of the other shows, will be available on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcast, as always. Free Market, take us away.
Good luck at the tables, D-Gens.
Good luck.